Thank you, Chairman. Chairman Carper and I both also sit on the Finance Committee, and I just want to flag for any colleagues who may be interested that as we go through trying to reform our tax code to get rid of some of the crummy ways that it has been used to help special interests at the expense of regular taxpayers, if we can help reinforce the advantages for durable conservation easements, I am all in on that and would love to work on that in bipartisan fashion. Mr. Traharn, your testimony talks about protecting river habitat by restoring dams and improving culverts and some of the man-made interruptions of river flow. We are obviously working on this a lot in Rhode Island. We have a lot of small dams. And I've been working for years to try to figure out a solution to efficiently allowing states to address the problem of particularly small dams, which in a lot of places aren't really owned by anybody any longer. And you have to go through a process that's not that different from damming the Columbia River to remove a dam on a little local stream or river. And you have to deal with a whole lot of title and liability issues. And we've got to work on a way to solve that. I think we have a way to solve that, but we just haven't been able to get it done yet. So I'd like to invite you to help us solve the problem of how to remove small and sometimes dangerous, usually obsolete dams that obstruct so many of our important rivers. Are you in for that?
Pardon me, my microphone wasn't working. Absolutely, Senator. And one thing that I think this committee can take a lot of credit for is the passage of the National Fish Habitat Partnerships, which will support the National Fish Habitat Action Plan moving forward. And I think those types of groups would be very interested in talking with you and would be happy to connect you with them and see how their mission overlaps with what you're trying to do.
Good. This is my longest lasting frustrations in the Senate. Sometimes little things can take a long time to get done. So I look forward to working with you. Dr. Gerber, you were good enough to mention oceans and specifically coral reefs. Could you just give us, for the record of the committee, an overview of the biodiversity calamities that are happening in many respects out of our human sight in the oceans, where we are visitors and not customary inhabitants, and particularly if what is predicted for coral reefs happens, which is that ocean acidification and ocean warming driven by fossil fuel emissions more or less wipes them out, what that does to the pace of biodiversity collapse in the oceans.
Thank you, Senator Whitehouse, for the opportunity to talk about marine systems, which is actually my area of expertise. Regarding the issue of climate change and coral reefs, we see a number of impacts. One is, as you mentioned, the coral structures are unable to adapt to the increasing temperatures. So what we're seeing is widespread bleaching of coral reefs. In addition to the loss of the coral reefs themselves, we're seeing a loss of the structure that provides habitat for entire ecosystems of biodiversity. So the other thing that I think is relevant to bring up here is that in terms of impacts of climate change on marine systems, we're also seeing impacts of climate change on the extent to which organisms move in the ocean. With warmer temperatures, we see more rapid metabolic processes, and so less movement, for example, between larval stages occurs, and this has broad implications for the way we manage the ocean, because these marine organisms have adapted to having this life cycle where the larvae live in different areas than the adults, and that provides some resilience to extreme events. So by this reduction in movement patterns, we actually are seeing less resilience in marine systems.
So in a nutshell, biodiversity in the oceans is a serious problem, and it's going to get rapidly worse if coral reefs vanish as a piece of the environmental infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Great. Thanks for helping us remember oceans, and thank you, Chairman, very much.